It's a couple of days later after the arrival of my Samsung Galaxy Tab S3, and I'm enjoying a cup of coffee out here with all the mosquitoes. And I just thought I'd tell the story of the two or three rabbit holes that I went down with this lovely tablet as I got it set up and running. The first rabbit hole, of course, is just turning it on and setting it up. And that turned out to be easier than I expected. I kind of went through a tough time with my Xiaomi phone that I bought a few months ago, where the setup procedure just took a long time and a lot of things went wrong. And then I encountered a lot of glitches. And I did a factory reset and had to do the whole setup all over again. I guess I hadn't done a full phone setup in a long time, so I didn't really have the system dialed in. Everything was kind of stressful and difficult. And then when I got the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, it was a little bit easier, but I still ran into a lot of problems, some funny ones. And one of the things that always happens when you're setting up one of these new devices is that you've just turned it on. You know, you've just turned on the screen, you've just hit the power button, things are happening, and then you have to start entering all of your account details, like you signed into your Google account. And to do that, you need your Google password, and then you need your security codes, and you need all this information. And the weird thing is that right out of the box, the default setting for all these devices is to turn the screen off after about 5 seconds of inactivity, right? So, you power the thing up, and then it says, oh, what is your Google account password? And I'm like, oh, shoot. I don't know what my password is because I use a password manager. And the password manager creates this password that is like 50 characters long. And normally I'm using an automated procedure using the password manager to enter all this information. But I can't do that with this because I don't have any of my accounts on it yet. So I actually have to physically get my massive password from my password manager. And it's, like I said, very, very long, and it has uppercase, lowercase, special characters, numbers. It's a very complex, massive password that I don't have memorized, obviously. So I have to call it up on one of my phones, and then I have to carefully type it into the Galaxy Tab S, 4 or 5 characters at a time. And every time I go back to my phone to look at the next 5 numbers of my password or the next 5 characters, by the time I get back to here, the screen has turned off because it's only on for like 5 seconds. And I'm like, oh no, what do I do? What do I do? So then you have to, kind of touch the screen to wake it up again. And then you say, oh, what was the password again? And then you go back to your password, you memorize the next 5 characters, and by the time it's turned off again because it has that 5-second turn off rate. And the only way to change that setting, to change it to turn off after 5 minutes of inactivity, is to finish logging in all your accounts. And once you have it set up, then you can go into the settings and change it from 5 seconds to 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever you like. But as I said, the default setting is so fast, I end up having all this trouble entering passwords because the darn screen turns off before I manage to enter any information. Even while I'm entering information, I'll pause to think about what's next. I was like, oh, what is the email address for that account? And I'm trying to think what it is. And by the time I go back to the screen's gone black again, because 5 seconds has passed. So you're really on the clock when you're setting this up. But a good thing about this is that I also have the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and it is fully set up with a Samsung account, which I've never had before, never used before. But as I was setting this up, it gave me the option of automating the process. It says, do you want to download all of your settings, all of your apps, all of your information from your other Samsung device? And normally I don't do stuff like that because it usually gets me in trouble when I get into one of these automated procedures. It usually ends up screwing things up. I prefer to go slow and do everything myself manually, step by step by step, so I know for sure what it is I'm doing. But I thought in this case, I don't know, maybe I can trust this Samsung linking system. So I said yes. I says, yes, download all of my apps and all of my information from my Samsung account to this new Samsung device. I said, okay. And then it started to work. And it took about, I don't know, 40 minutes to complete because I had to download all of the apps that I have installed on the phone, had to download all of them to here, along with all this other information. But it was quietly working in the background for 40 minutes. And then it was finally done. I got a happy beep, and that said, your tablet has been all set up for you. I still have to do quite a bit of work logging into all these accounts, and it didn't download all of the apps for some reason, and it didn't organize them in the same way that I have it organized on my phones. So I still have to do some logging in, some security procedures, and I have to do some organizing, but the bulk of it got done automatically. So that was kind of cool. So the setup procedure for this was a lot easier than on my phones. I guess I'm getting used to doing it because I've gotten a few new devices lately. The next adventure was actually getting a memory card, because this has 32 gigabytes of internal memory, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and I'm hoping to be able to use this to edit video. And to do that, I need more memory. And I did the research, and I found out that the maximum size memory card you can put in this device is 256 gigabytes microSD card, which is what I have here. But typical Doug story to go along with this card, because not quite a few days ago, I knew I was going to go to Tesco. And at Tesco, there is a banana electronics shop, and I know they carry micro SD cards. So I thought, oh, I'll go to Tesco, drop in at Banana, pick up one of these memory cards while I'm shopping for pasta sauce and new instant coffee. And as I usually do, I was awake pretty early, and I actually had to force myself to stay until 9 o'clock when, Tesco opens. So, I waited until 9:15 or whatever it was, and then I hopped on my scooter, drove to Tesco to do my shopping. And of course, Banana doesn't open until 10. And that's always how things go with me, no matter where I go, anywhere in the world, every business, every office, every government department, the day I go, the hour I go, is the day and the hour that they're closed, almost without exception. It's one of my many magic powers. I manage to go everywhere at the exact wrong time when that business just happens to be closed for that day or for that week or whatever. So that's what happened when I first tried to buy this memory card. And then this morning, I decided to take another run at it, and I decided to go to Robinson. There's a Robinson department store here, and they have a banana outlet that is much bigger than the one at Tesco. And I figured they would have a bigger selection of memory cards. So I thought, well, I'm not going to get trapped this time. I'm not going to go at 9 o'clock, fool me once, etc. So I waited until after 10, drove out to Robinson's. I got there at 10:30, parked my scooter, marched confidently up to the door, closed. At Robinson, they don't open until 11. So I'd done my due diligence, waited until after 10 o'clock, but I still was an hour too early, and they weren't open yet. I had to wait until 11. So I thought, well, I'm not going to sit around here for an hour. I know that it's after 10, so Banana at Tesco will be open now. So I got back on my scooter, drove the 4 or 5 kilometers from Robinson to Tesco. I went to the banana shop, and of course, they had a big selection of these SanDisk Ultra micro SD XC cards, which I figured out were the ones I wanted for the tablet. And I wanted to get a 256 gigabyte micro SD XC card. And there they have their vast wall, the big display of all the cards. And I'm here to tell you that, as always happens to me, They had every single card you can think of, every single card you might want. They had the 32 gigabyte, 64 gigabyte, 128 gigabyte, 512 gigabyte, 1 terabyte. What was the one card they were missing? This one. They didn't have any 256 gigabyte cards. They had every other card you could want, but the one card that I wanted was the one card they didn't have. I don't know why that is. It's another one of my magical powers that I have. I always want the one item that doesn't seem to exist. And it wasn't like they were sold out of them. There wasn't even a slot for them. I mean, across the wall, you know, they had a little hook for all the different sizes, and there was the stack, a big stack of 32 gig cards, 64 gig cards, 128, and then 512. Where 256 was supposed to be, there was nothing there. So even though that banana was open, they didn't sell the one I needed. So I thought, well, back to Robinson. So I waited for a little while, drove back to Robinson's. I was still too early, so I just sort of sat out in the parking lot. There was like 100 people there sitting on their scooters waiting for Robinson to open at 11 o'clock. And when the doors opened, there was this massive rush. All the people went charging towards the door. I just hung back, and I was watching a TV show on my phone out in the parking lot, waiting until the crowd dissipated. Then I went in to Robinson. I went to Banana, and they had it. They had the 256 gigabyte card. So I was successful, and I came back to the guest house, put it into my tablet, and now I have, I hope, another video editing machine. Remains to be seen how well it does compared to, say, my Galaxy Note 10 Plus, because in fact my phone has a more powerful processor than this does. I forget what model it is now, but it's a, it's a Qualcomm Snapdragon, whatever. But it's a more powerful chipset than is in here. But maybe this has other things the phone doesn't have because it's bigger. I don't know. But we're going to try it out and see whether I can edit video on this or not. At least I have enough memory to do it now. The third rabbit hole I went down for my new tablet is actually the most amusing one, certainly the most amusing one for me. And that's going to require a little bit of a show and tell. So let's open up the tablet. I have it inside this case, and I was very excited. If you saw the unboxing, the full unboxing, you know I was pretty excited to find this case in there. Mosquito. Because I love having cases for things. So once I had my tablet all set up, the first thing I did was put it in the case. I put in a PIN number and I registered my fingerprints. So now I'm able to turn this on with just a press of a thumb. Yeah, turns on. There's the lovely screen of the Tab S3. And the great thing about this, one of these cases, the way you would use a tablet, of course, is that you would fold this case behind and then turn it into a tablet form. And then when you do that, look what happens. The screen turned off and reset. There, the screen turned off. So I was, I turned it around. I put the case behind it, and then I was holding it like this, and no screen. It went black. And I thought, well, that is weird. Why would... And then I loosened the case, and it turned back on. So there I was, confused. So I, put on my thumbprint again, turned it on. There's the screen. And then, this is kind of hard to hold to demonstrate, but there it is there. And then I fold the case around the back, and the screen went off. I was like, what is going on? I couldn't make any sense out of this at all. So I open it up again. I'm like, oh, now the screen is on. So like, what is going on? So I'm looking all over the place for a switch. Am I hitting a button by accident? Is there a... what is going on, So I turn the thing back on with my thumbprint, and I'm all set to consume media, edit videos, whatever I'm going to do. But I can't really hold it like this, I'm not going to hold it like I'm holding like a textbook or something. It's a tablet, so it's supposed to be folded back. I go like that, and the screen turns off. You know? I've never had a tablet before, so this was a brand new experience to me, and I was completely floored. I had no idea what was going on. It's like, what is happening with this case? It felt like one of these technical problems, again, that only happens to me. I already knew I was going to go on Google and I was going to start typing silly things into Google search like Samsung Tab S3, screen shuts off when I fold the case behind the tablet. You know, how do you even word this problem? I didn't even know how to describe it. I'd never even imagined something like this happening. You know, just one more time. There's the screen, you know, now it's on, and then you want to sort of hold it in a convenient tablet fashion. So you're holding it like this, and there, the screen goes off. Complete mystery. Did not understand it at all. So I did my Google search, typing in a million different things. I got all kinds of you know, articles and YouTube videos, everything about the screen timing. You know, after so much activity, the screen turns off automatically. And I'm like, yes, I know that. And they tell me some other feature, and I'm like, yes, I know that. I know all of that. What is happening to my tablet is something different entirely, and I could not understand it at all. But after much more research and gnashing of teeth, I figured out that it is because of magnets. And it turns out that these cases that you buy for tablets have magnets embedded in the case. And the idea is that when you close it, the magnet triggers automatic shutdown of the screen. So you never have to turn the device off. All you have to do is open it, it turns on, close it, it turns off. You know, open it, it turns on, close it, it turns off automatically. It's a convenience thing, and there's magnets embedded in here. I did some searching around with a metal, and I found 3 magnets. One here, and one here. So there were 3 magnets. And that kind of made sense to me. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You open it, it turns on. You close it, it turns off. Assuming the magnets are not damaging the tab, that's very convenient. But why in a million years, when you fold, and it's designed to be folded, when you fold the tablet all the way around to the back, why does it turn off then? That makes no sense, because this is how you would hold the tablet to use it. I get it, closing it to turn it off, opening it to turn it on, that I get, but folding it to the back, also turning it off? The logic, there is no logic to that. It made no sense at all. So I was trying to figure that out, and went back onto the internet. I'm tracking down all these articles, all these YouTube videos, and this time I found a few YouTube videos from people basically sounding exactly like me, where they're making a video about this weird thing their tablet is doing, and they don't understand it. And that led me to more information and more information. I started learning about all these magnets and this kind of thing. And after much research, I decided that I don't care about this automatic on-off system. I don't need that. I always would turn the screen off physically myself, and I would always turn it on physically. This automatic opening to turn it on and closing to turn it off, I don't need that feature. So I don't need the magnets, do I? Therefore, I went to the hardware store. There's a DIY hardware store here, and this is pretty amazing. I bought this whole kit for 15 baht. You know, it's all cheap. I mean, it's incredibly cheaply made, but it seems pretty extraordinary that I can get a box cutter, with a very sharp knife, a pair of scissors. I guess they're sewing scissors or something, and two, household screwdrivers, flathead, and a Phillips head. All of this for 15 baht. How in the world can any company make money selling all that for 15 baht? Like I said, it's all junk. It wouldn't last more than a couple of weeks probably before all this breaks. But still, it's a lot to get for 15 baht. But all I wanted was the box cutter, because my plan was to go into this case and use my box cutter and surgically remove the magnets. In order to do that, of course, I had to figure out which magnet was the one turning off the screen. And through experimenting, I found out that this magnet doesn't seem to do anything. It's just here for the strap. So this holds the case closed, and there's a magnet here. That's all it does. And then, so that's the top, that's the magnet here. And then there's two more magnets, one at the bottom and one at the top. And then through experimenting, I found out that it's the magnet at the top is the one that's shutting off the screen. So I carefully got out my box cutter and I carved into it. As you can see, I've already done it there. Let's see if I can put that onto the GoPro. And right there is the magnet that is causing all these problems. So I cut away the case so I could dig in there with my box cutter, and there it is. I surgically removed the magnet. And now, and I was quite careful to do it, so you can hardly even see where I did my surgery. That's where the magnet came out. And I plan on filling that hole with something, maybe a coin or some cardboard or something, so I can fill it out a little bit, maybe glue it back together or something, I don't know. But the magnet has now been removed, and if I turn on my tablet, well, I have it closed already, but so if my tablet is on like this, and as I want to do, I fold my cover to the back, ta-da, it no longer turns off. So, success. Who knew? Like, I never knew that I would end up using a box cutter on my brand new tablet to surgically remove a magnet from the case. But that's what I did, and now, yeah, as you can see, screen is still on, even though the cover has been folded to the back. And when it comes time to shut down, it no longer works. Like, I no longer get automatic shutdown. You see, it's still on now. So it no longer automatically turns it off. But to me, that's not a problem because, push the button. Where is it? Yeah, push the power button and the screen turns off. So those are my 3 rabbit holes I went down for my Samsung tablet. But that was such a fun one. I've never done anything like that before, like removing a magnet in order to fix it. But I'm glad I solved the mystery. One really weird thing, though, is that every time I went into the forums where people were asking questions about this problem, the same question kept coming up over and over and over again. People would say, can you tell me where the magnets are? I have a Samsung, or I have a case for the Tab S made by this company. Where are the magnets? Can someone please give me a diagram showing their location? And people would give them the diagrams. They'd actually make them, these graphic images of the case and showing where the magnets are. But I kept thinking, these people can't be very bright because it's not hard to find the magnets. Metal, magnet. You know what I mean? Just all you have to do is take a piece of metal. There it is. There's the magnet. You drag it along the cover, and you can feel where the magnet is. So I basically took a pair of scissors. I found that magnet pretty quickly. And then this one I think is the one I removed. Oh no, there's the one I removed is down here, so I don't feel anything anymore. And the last magnet is right here. There's one still there. But I don't know what that magnet does. I have no idea what its function is. And that's the other really weird thing about this. This magnet is designed to turn the tablet on and off. That's what it does. The company designed this case, deliberately put that magnet in there as an automatic switch for turning the tablet on and off. So it's a physical part of the hardware, and yet when you go into the manuals for the Tab S3, all the guidebooks, all the manuals, all the support documents, I read them all cover to cover. I read every page of everything I could find. Nowhere does Samsung ever mention magnets. They never say, we have a switch in the tablet where a magnet will automatically turn the screen on and off. Nowhere. It's never mentioned by Samsung, and yet this feature must be built into the tablet. It's not like it's there by accident. Seems like it's really something that would be important for customers to know. But anyway, I couldn't find that information anywhere. I had to figure all this out by a trial and error. But I have figured it out. I left this magnet in place. You know, I don't know, it's not doing any harm. There was some concern online about magnets damaging the tablet over an extended period of time. So I'm not sure if that's true or not. I can't imagine that it really is true. But if I do decide that it's true, you know, I'll just take a pair of scissors and I'll cut this off and I'll cut this magnet out as well. And as for the one magnet, the other magnet that's still in there, I don't know what it does. I've done a whole bunch of experimenting, opening and closing and doing different things, but I don't know what that other magnet is for. Yeah, that's still a mystery. So, those are my adventures so far with the Galaxy Tab S3. And I guess the next adventure will be installing a video editing app and trying it out and seeing how well it works. And I think I'll be doing that tonight, right after I finish this cup of coffee. And I'm sure I'll let you know at some point how that little adventure went. I'm sure it's going to be another small adventure in my life. See you in that video.